Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Well, it's kind of scary out there.
Have you never been camping before?
I mean, I've stayed in a cabin in a tent in the woods, but it's dark, darker than I thought.
It's true. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is safe around here. I haven't seen anything too scary, but you know what? Why don't we light a couple extra candles just to be safe?
That's helpful, thank you.
All right.
That makes me feel a little better. It is still a little scary out there because you kind of never know, like, if something's gonna jump out at you or what it's gonna be like out there.
Totally get that. Actually, you know what? That reminds me of this story I remember from Jesus. I was reading some of his teachings about this. Okay, so this one time, Jesus was teaching, and he said to the people he was talking to, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never be in darkness, but will live their lives full of light."
Oh, I think I've heard of that before, but it feels a little bit more relatable now being out here in the dark.
Right? Sometimes I think about it because way back in Jesus' time, people would not have been used to what we're used to with lights and electricity and being able to flick on the switch whenever you want. Honestly, it'd probably be more like this out camping when it's dark outside.
Oh, I never really thought of that before. It makes a lot of sense. It might be dangerous for someone to go out at night and walk around with all the animals and maybe even robbers.
Right? So when Jesus says that he is the light of the world, people listening to him even understood it in a more deeper way because they couldn't just go flick on a light switch anytime. Probably really comforting.
Oh, okay, so when Jesus was talking to everyone, that must have been pretty comforting to everyone who's listening, but what does that actually mean?
Well, for one thing, I think when Jesus says he's the light of the world, it means that he's like the path that we follow in the world. So imagine it's night, you're trying to get home, and you have a flashlight, and you turn it on, you can see where you're going, you can see your steps. You feel a little bit safer in that, but you also know where to go and how to get there. So in some ways, Jesus is telling us that we're safe with him because he's the light of the world, but he's also telling us that he's teaching us how to live in the world and be better people.
I see, no pun intended.
I see what you did there. Yeah, totally. Okay, but also one more thing. I think sometimes when we use light and dark, it's kind of like a metaphor when we talk about something is good or bad. And so when Jesus is telling us that he is the light of the world, he's also reminding us that he's everything that's good in the world. And that when we follow him, our lives can be full of that same kind of light and good.
Okay, wow, thank you for sharing that with me. Jesus' teachings are so full of wisdom. And you know what? I don't feel scared out anymore. Even out here in the wilderness, I feel okay.
Right? No problem. And also, as Albus Dumbledore once said, happiness can be found even in the darkest times if one only remembers to turn on the light.